Yes. Now, you and I, of course, you mentioned that we were co-workers at the Clarence Fitzgerald College. In fact, we taught the course Caribbean Studies, for a number of years, and we looked at the Human Development Index, the Human Development Paradigm, and one of the pillars of that is that of empowerment. You talk about empowerment of women, empowerment of minorities, and all of that sort of thing. Empowerment is quite a powerful word. What does people empowerment mean for you? And why is it so important to empower people?
Empowerment. And you know, when I first heard the word and Caribbean Studies, it took me a while, because it's a big word, but there's no big word.
Right.
If it's unfamiliar to you, then it becomes a problem. But basic meaning of empowerment, it refers to the process of enabling communities or people to increase control over their lives. Simple put, take control of your life. There are certain things you ought to do to take control of your life, whether it's to buy a car, to get to work on time, whether it's education, so that you can move up the social ladder, whatever it is. We must get people involved in doing stuff that they can take full control of their lives. And so it includes things like social and economic advancement. Social and economic, that is almost everything that happens in our society. The social issue and the economic issue. As I said before, you have to feel good about yourself. And I think that is part of our problem. We isolate people and make them feel inferior. They have no self-esteem.
What about political advancement? Do you think that we are advancing in our politics? It has been said that our politics is very tribal. And really, when you talk about people empowerment, building communities, getting communities to be more cohesive, our political advancement as a people in terms of working together despite whatever political affiliation that we may have, we need to get to that stage as part of our political advancement. You spoke about social advancement, you spoke about economic advancement, but how is political advancement, our political maturity, probably affecting our social and economic advancement? Earlier you mentioned that the name was changed from the Department of Constituency Empowerment to get away from that political terminology, to know that we are working with everybody. It's about unity. Could you speak a little bit to that?
Well, and you asked about advancement. It's amazing that you said that, because I think that we are moving in the right direction in terms of political maturity. And anybody who knows me over the years, even though I would go out and say this is what I support in terms of my political affiliation, and I hide not, I don't hide, people know that I try to be very fair also. And so sometimes I'm very critical of some things that a political party or an individual may have done, even though I might be supporting. Because I believe politics is all inclusive. Politics is life, as far as I'm concerned. I love politics, but politics, it has its place. You cannot separate social issues and economic issues from politics.
Right.
Because they are all cornerstone of our very own survival.
Yes.
I remember in university we said economic and politics, you cannot separate them. You cannot have one without the other. But what you're saying is that we need to now become mature. Now that is part of the whole thrust of this whole department, to educate people, to bring people up to speed, to let them know this is our country, our federation, and we could have a say. It doesn't matter what side of the divide you find yourself. Get involved in the whole activities within your communities. And if you do that, it means then that our communities can help to impact on the decision-making processes
Right.
of the government. But we have weak communities because we are fighting against each other.
Yes.
And so what we need to try and create is some cohesion, some cohesiveness. Bring people together within your community. And so when a politician speaks nonsense or something that you don't agree with, as a community you can go together and say, hey, let us revisit this. And these are things that we're talking about, empowering people. It's not just to put money in a man's pocket, in your pocket. It's not just to buy a car.
Or to give a fridge or some blocks.
But you understand what I'm saying? It's to make people feel good about themselves, that they can make a difference. This is about making a difference. And we are suffering from that now because too many people are sitting back, feeling isolated. I am not a part of what is happening in my community. And if we can get people involved, and there are a lot of ways we can do it, as well. A lot of ways. And I guess as we go down, we can speak to them as to how the department will try to get some, because I will tell you, and let me say this very clear. I sing. I taught for a while. So I know what it is to talk and sing and express. I want action. I am about action. I want to see things happen quickly. And that is where I think I would have a problem, because government tend to want to move too slowly. While we are doing that, people are suffering. I like to see things. We need to change the culture in government. That is something I would like to advocate here. We need to change the culture in government as to how we do things. I hate people telling me, this is how we do it. We've been doing this for a while. But what do you have to show? Nothing. And as the Prime Minister said last night, when he mentioned about the High Command, you have to think outside the box. Way outside the box. Because the box is crowded now. We have been doing that for years. We need new ideas. So that is why I'm saying this is important. To get into the communities and have people out there with ideas. Start to listen to them.
Yes.
And you don't need to have, let me say this, you don't need to have a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, or any degree at all. They have people out there who would have lived the life, know what it is, know what you would take. And that's why I'm telling you, these people in the diaspora become very important. Because they are living in the first world. They can guide us as to some of the issues. We have an issue of crime. We have people out there who can help us. We need to start reaching out to these people. Listen to what they say. Because we can't do it alone. And anybody who believes they can do it alone, no man is an island. And so this department, I am going to ensure that we're reaching out to people, not only locally, but in the diaspora, to help with this whole process of bringing and empowering our people. Now, you said something about the human index. This is very important.
Yes.
Empowerment. But you can't have empowerment without equity.
That is correct.
Even though they are the pillars. And if you're going to be productive.
And productivity. And sustainability.
And then sustainability. All these things go together. So when we are putting things in place, we must be mindful of these things. That these things must be sustainable. And so we don't do something now for now. How far could $10,000 go? When you could have taught me how to make a bench, let me make more than that. You know what I'm saying? What the adage say? You teach a man to fish, and you feed him for the rest of his life.
That's right.
And this is what we are trying to do. I want to be able to get people involved, feel good about themselves, because there are a lot of talents there. A lot of talents. And if we could show them the art of being productive, not only as an individual, but economically, they could help enhance the communities.
Mr. Watley, you are very, very passionate and
I am. With anything I do.
About whether it is calypso or whatever you
do. I put my heart in it.
You're extremely passionate.
Yes.
Now, you spoke about, we're talking about people empowerment, of course, and one of the ways of empowering people is providing them with employment.
Yes.
You spoke about giving a man a fish and teaching a man to fish, and the difference between both. Now, providing people with employment. Now, let us look at your department. You're the director of people empowerment, but at some point, of course, you have to be on this drive to look at staffing of the department. So I want to ask you, is there a drive to get staff for the department, and what are some of the qualities that you would want to see in your staff?
Simple. you must be a people person. It's a people empowerment, right?
Yes.
So you must be a people person. And I would imagine, because it's government would have their standards as to qualifications for certain positions. But I would want people to understand that this department, it wouldn't be an 8 to 4 department. You can't be effective 8 to 4 when we are talking about people in the communities. 8 to 4, everybody are working. So if we want to reach the people, we're going to have to go when they're at home. So you'll have to get people who are willing to work around the clock. Compensation, we'll talk about that later. But around the clock, because you want to be effective.
Yes.
You finish working, we go to the communities, we hear what we say, and we get things going. So, and we want people who are passionate of wanting to see people elevate, wanting to see other people elevate. There'll be a lot of consultation, research writing. You have to do your research and so forth. So it's not a simple job to say, well, I just come and I just do that. You would have to come up with new ideas, novel ideas. You would have to be able to help in the honing of these people that we are trying to empower in the communities. And so it is a challenging post, I would say. Anybody who's going to work in the department would understand. They're coming to a department where, to me, we are going to move the re-engineering and so forth. We're moving in new territories. And when I say new, not that they weren't mentioned before, but my thing is about implementation. Yes, we can write and say all kind of things, and you can say, oh, we heard that before. And that's why I'm saying I'm not want to be in the talk thing. I want to know implementation, results. Because I don't want to just be saying the same thing that was said before and doing. We want to see results, especially that we are hurting.
You don't want to be singing the same tune.
Not the same song.
You're a calypsonian.
Not the same old khaki pants, as they would say.